Okay, in this section of the video we are going to look at our blocks. The first block we're going to work on is our inward block. Now these are not all the blocks that you're going to learn throughout the Kenpo system, but these are the basic ones that you're going to see the most often. The ones that you don't see very often you'll learn within the technique itself. So, like all of our blocks and strikes, we're going to start practicing these from our square horse stance or our training position. So, we're going to get in a little closer so you can see the motion of the block. Now from here, the hands start from a chambered position. The hand comes up right next to your head or temple, palm is out, thumb is down, okay? So from here, you're going to come straight across the body. We don't want to do it up and down because we want to make sure we cover left or right. We want to give room for error in case we misjudge the strike. So from our chamber position, the hand comes up, inward block. The hand comes up, now as this one moves in, the other one goes back to chamber. Now, there's a little crook in your arm right here where your muscle group is. That is where the nose goes here. Okay, that's where your nose should be, is right there. It should be right in front of your face, not down low and not too high. You want it right there. Hand comes up and block. It's almost like if you're throwing a football or stabbing something. Same similar motion. From here, inward. Okay, just from here, hand comes up and down. And we rotate left to right. Now you want to practice these both from a square horse stance and also practice going into a fighting stance. Stepping back and stepping forward. Now, keep in mind, as you progress through the system, you're not really going to see inward blocks used in that formality. You're going to see more of a parry because it's quicker and your hand's more relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the faster you'll move. But the motion will still be the same. So for right now, practice with your inwards in the formal way, but as you see in a lot of the videos, you won't see an inward block as much as you'll see a parry block. So again, from our training stance, left hand is up, knuckles right next to the head, thumbs pointing down, palm is out. Strike right in front of you, nose right there, looking straight ahead. Okay, again, cover both left and right punches. Don't worry about which one it is. It should work for either one. Okay, from this angle. Inward block. Okay, from a different perspective. Hand in chamber. Just like that. Now remember, practice these both from that training stance. Also practice from a neutral, where you step back into your fighting stance and throw your inward block. So in which cases you've learned with the fighting stance, step and block. Step and block. Also practice stepping forward and doing the same thing. Step forward into a fighting stance and block. Now at this point, just go ahead and put your hand in chamber, because usually there's a strike coming, and that's where the strike will need to come from anyway. So inward and block. Okay? Inward and block. Now the power pattern for this block is a soft bow. So as you step in, you're going to step into soft bow and pivot to horse. Okay, again, soft bow to horse. Same thing for stepping back. You're going to step back to a soft bow, pivot to your fighting stance. Again, step back, pivot to your fighting stance. Okay, those are inward blocks. The next block we're going to look at is upward blocks. And there again, we're going to start these from our training position, but we're going to also want to practice them stepping back and into a fighting stance. So from our training stance, get yourself into a nice square horse stance, hands in chamber. We'll start with our right. Now as the right hand comes up, we're going to cross the center line of the body, almost like an inward block. But as soon as the hand leaves the head, we're going to roll over and take out to the side. We don't want to leave it up here. This should be out to the side of the head. Then this hand comes up. As they cross, we cover. Okay, you want to make sure you cover left or right. It shouldn't matter. You should be able to get them both. Come up and over. Straight up and over. Just like that. You can do this with an open palm or a closed fist. It doesn't matter. whichever makes it more comfortable and quicker for you to do it. Now, like I said, we need to practice these also stepping in and out of a fighting stance. So as we step back into a fighting stance, just like our inwards, we're going to come up and over, hand in chamber, making sure we're in a fighting stance so that we can throw our kicks or punches. Again, up and over. Again, up and over. Practice stepping into them as well. Just like that. Step into a fighting stance, up and over. You should make sure you cover the whole center line so you don't have to worry whether it's a left or right punch. Right hand is in chamber to make sure you're ready for an attack. Practice both sides. So make sure you do this left side as well as right side. Okay, stepping in with your left. Right hand is in chamber. Or stepping in with your right, left hand is in chamber, Just like that. Okay, from a different angle, we're going to do these from a fighting stance. So we're going to step in left and over. Okay, again, step in and over. Let's do our right side now. Up and over. Make sure you're in a fighting stance and your opposite hand is in chamber. Up and over. Okay, now stepping back, same thing, left. Step back, upwards block. Let's do the right side now. Step back, upwards block. Stepping back, upwards block. Okay, from this angle, we'll step forward first. Start with our weak side or left, up and over. Right hand is in chamber. Again, up and over. Okay, let's try the other side. Up and over. Good, just like one more. Okay, now let's try stepping back. There we go. Make sure the hand comes up above the head and crosses over to the side. Takes that arm out away from the body. Other side now. Up and over. Again, up and over. Okay, now let's look at our extended outward blocks. Like all the blocks, we're going to start from our training stance, hands in chamber. Same motion, almost the same starting motion as the upward. The hand comes up. Right about the time your nose is right about here in that crook of the arm, we're going to strike straight out. Now, these blocks can be a hard strike, in which case you're trying to move that arm away from the body, or it could be a soft strike because you're going to follow through with a grab. Okay, so it comes up and strike. Up and strike. Now, as this one's there, this is going to start, and then this one will leave. This will start, and this one will come back to chamber. Later on in the video, we'll show you some drills to help you practice this with your strikes and some coordination. Just like that. Okay, like the other blocks, we need to practice this both sides as well as from a fighting stance. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to step back right, left extended outward block, right hand in chamber. Okay, again, step back into fighting stance, extended outward block. One more time. Up and out. Now it's called an extended outward because we're leaving it away from the center line. In comes in, that goes up. Everything is in relation to your center line. The other side. Again, step back and strike. Now, the power pattern for this is you want to step back into a soft bow, and as you strike, you're pivoting to horse. So if you want to practice your power patterns as well, step back to soft bow, hand is here, strike out as you go into your fighting stance. And stepping forward, same thing. Soft bow, horse. Again, soft bow, horse if you want to break it down. Other side. Make sure you practice both sides in from square horse as well as from your fighting stances. Okay, let's look at it from this angle. Stepping forward and extended outward block. Step forward, extended outward block. Other side. Okay, let's practice stepping back. Now the other side. Okay, let's do it from this angle, so you can make sure you see all various angles of this to get a good perspective of it. So we'll step in, extended outward block. Step into soft bow, and into horse. Now as you get used to it, it won't be such an exaggerated motion. It'll be a fine, subtle motion, but the power pattern will still be there. And one more time with this side. Okay, other side now. Good, now let's show you stepping back one last time. So as we step back, right side block, left step back. Again, stepping back left, right block. Stepping back left, right block. Last time. Practice those blocks and then come back and learn your next block. Okay, the next block we're going to look at in our basic block section is a vertical outward block. Now, once again, we're going to start from a square horse stance. The hand, in this case, your right hand is going to drop straight down, and we're going to come across the center line, just like you're scooping water and then throwing it out. That's the best analogy I could use to describe this motion. So the hand drops. You scoop or come across the center line. The hand comes across the face into a hook, because we're going to hook the hand, because usually this is followed by a grab. We use it to grab the opponent's arm. So here, and grab. Then the left hand drops, right, and scoop. Right, and scoop. Left hand drops. The timing these should cross, just like that. Drop down, and cross. Drop down, and cross. Now once you have this pattern down, you can add a crossbody parry. So as you do this block, you go to do your next block. This one will do a crossbody parry as this comes down and you go up. Then this comes into a crossbody parry as this goes down and you go up. So this way, if there's another punch coming, you can block it and do your main block. So the crossbody parry as this goes down and up. And up. And up. Okay? So practice both ways. Just first, once you get the pattern down, until you get it down, just do it with the block, just like that. Just drop and block. Drop straight down, comes across the center line in a clockwise motion and hooks the hand. This drops, counterclockwise motion. This one drops, clockwise motion. From here, counterclockwise motion. Then once you get this pattern down, add the crossbody parry. Like so. Crossbody parry, crossbody parry, and crossbody parry. Now, just like all of our other blocks, I'm not going to go into a lot of details because you should know how to do the fighting stance by now. Practice stepping out with a crossbody parry, vertical outward block. Okay? Once you have those two down, add the third thing, which is step back into a fighting stance, crossbody parry, vertical outward block. Making sure you practice both sides. Okay. Also, make sure you practice stepping in as well as stepping back, so you get the same motion down. Just like that. And those are vertical outward blocks. Okay, the next block we're going to look at is a downward block. Now, a downward block is just basically we're going to strike downwards. Now, we're going to do this one not from a neutral stance. We're going to do this one in a fighting stance. This is mainly used for kicks, front snap kicks, and so forth, to get the kick to the outside of the body. So we step back into our fighting stance. The hand comes out with a big circle, and we take this block all the way to the outside with our right hand in chamber. So in this case, we're going to step back right. This is going to swing counterclockwise as we pivot into a horse stance, right hand in chamber. Again, start here and pivot. The motion of the block should match the hip torque. So as you start, you're in a soft bow. As the hand comes around, Your hips turn with your hand in chamber. Again. Okay. Now don't worry about practicing this one forward, because usually when there's a front snap kick or any kick, we're going to step either to the side of the kick or just out of the critical distance line with this block. Okay, the other side, we're going to step back left. This hand's going to come to the outside and block. Again, counterclockwise motion and block. We're going to cover the whole center line so we don't have to worry about left or right. So here and block into a nice square horse fighting stance. You shouldn't be leaning forward or back. Okay, again. Now if you have a partner, you can have someone practice throwing slow front snap kicks at you so that you get the idea. And what you're aiming for is the calf muscle, not the ankle or anywhere else, because you want to hammer fist that calf muscle. So we're going to step back, hand drops, big circles, and over and around. Again, watch your power pattern. Make sure your circle matches your hip rotation. Again. One more time. And those are downward blocks. Okay, the next block we're going to look at is threading the needle. This is probably one of the most common blocks, one of the most common blocks that we use within the system, other than your basic upwards, inwards, outwards, downwards, and parry. Now we're going to start this from a square horse like we do all of our other blocks. Now the threading the needle comes straight up in front of you. Okay, just like this. And it comes straight down at the same angle. So basically you're going to come up, just barely touching the hand, and grab it as you pull them into chamber. Left comes up, pulls into chamber. Up and back into chamber. Just like that. Just like you're threading a needle. It stays on the same line. Now, unlike our other blocks, this one's going to actually probably use a soft bow and go to the outside. We usually go to the outside. Occasionally we go to the inside, but more often than not, we're going to step right, go to the outside, thread the needle, heel palm, strike, or so forth. So one way to practice this is stepping off to the side. So in this case, you would step right to 230, thread the needle, come back to neutral. Step left, right, threading the needle into chamber. Come back to neutral and back. And just keep working that until you got that motion down. It should be 1, 2. Now what you're doing is just catching the arm, probably around the forearm area, and then just slide it down until it hooks the wrist and pull them straight into chamber. Okay, let's review from our square horse stance. Start with this position first, and once you get it down, then add the footwork. So up, just like a upwards block, except we're not going to roll over. We're just going to come up and down. Up and down. Usually this hand's open because we're going to roll and grab. We don't usually close it when we do it. Okay, up, roll and grab. Up, roll and grab. Just like that. Okay, and then the footwork drill you want to do with this one is step right to 230, left threading the needle. Come back to neutral. Left threading the needle, or left step, right threading the needle. Back to neutral. Okay, left, right. So we're going to step right with our right leg to 230, left threading the needle. Step left to 1030, right threading the needle. Practice that until you can do it very smoothly. Then if you really want, you can go here and then step forward. And use it as a line drill. And then work it backwards. Just to get used to moving your feet. And that's called threading the needle. Okay, the last block we're going to look at in the blocking series is scissor blocks. Now this is one of the few blocks we don't do from a square horse. This is actually going to be done from a right or a left lead. We have what we call an inside scissor block and an outside scissor block. And it doesn't have anything to do with the part of the arm you strike as much as it does the direction you're striking. So we start from what we call a boxer's lead or in our right lead for practicing. Now, hands are out just like if you were getting ready to spar. Now your left hand, or I mean your right hand, which is your lead hand, is going to reach out in heel palm the radial nerve. The left hand comes underneath. There's your scissor action, and it's going to back fist the bicep. Now normally from here we roll over and grab and go into a forearm strike. So maintaining your right lead stance, heel palm, back fist, back to stance. Okay? Heel palm the radial nerve, back fist the bicep, and back to stance. Now, this is an inside scissor block because you're blocking to the inside of your body. Heel palm, back fist, and back. Now these should be quick. Just practice them slow at first until you get the pattern. Then as you build it up, make them quicker until you can do them pretty fast. Heel palm, back fist, and back. Heel palm, back fist, and back. Now, there again, we usually leave our hands open because we're more relaxed than we are with them closed and tensed up. And this is a speed block. Okay? 1, 2, and back. Now to do the outside, same stance, it's just we're going to do a left heel palm, right back fist, and back to stance. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Same thing, just going in the opposite direction without changing our stance. Okay, then practice from a left lead. Not that anything really changes, except now we're doing an outside scissor block this way and an inside scissor block this way. Okay, there again. Inside, coming to the inside of the body, left heel palm to radial nerve, right hand is underneath the arm. We're going to follow it down as we fully extend it into a back fist. Hands come back to our fighting stance. Heel palm, back fist, back to fighting stance. Now, depending on you and your reach, you may have to lean into that back fist slightly to get it to work right, but you want to numb that arm out. You're going to strike that radial nerve with the heel palm and then back fist that bicep as hard as you can, and that should neutralize that arm for a while. So heel palm, back fist. Heel palm, back fist. Okay, practice both directions and from both leads so that you're comfortable either way. Now there again, inside versus outside doesn't have anything to do whether you're hitting the inside of the arm or the outside. Okay, it all has to do whether you're striking to the outside of the body or the inside of the body. Heel palm, back fist. All done from a fighting or a forward leg right lead stance or left lead stance, depending on how you prefer to fight. But make sure you work both sides. The hands stay right here at chest level. Boom. And you just strike about face level because that's usually where they're hitting you. And strike. And those are called scissor blocks, inside and outside.